Tottenham Hotspur sack Thomas Frank after disastrous Premier League run. Tottenham Hotspur have relieved Thomas Frank of his duties as head coach after just 8 months in charge, the club confirmed on February 11, 2026, following a disappointing sequence of results that saw Spurs slide into the bottom half of the Premier League. The dismissal comes amid intensifying pressure from fans, mounting criticism over performances, and growing fears that Tottenham could become embroiled in a relegation battle. Frank, 52, was appointed by Tottenham in June 2025 on a 3-year contract, succeeding Ange Postecoglou after the Australian was dismissed despite winning the UEFA Europa League and securing qualification for the Champions League the previous season. However, what began as a fresh start quickly turned into an uphill struggle for the Dane, whose side failed to establish consistency in domestic competition. Final straw: home defeat to Newcastle United. Tottenham's loss to Newcastle United on February 10, 2026, proved to be the final blow for Frank. Newcastle secured a 2-1 victory at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with goals that underscored Spurs' ongoing defensive vulnerabilities and lack of cutting edge in attack. Poor results had left the team 16th in the Premier League, just 5 points above the relegation zone, sparking alarms among supporters and club officials alike. Fans at the match expressed their frustration vocally, chanting, "You're getting sacked in the morning," a chant that echoed previous dissatisfaction and pressure, and even singing the name of former boss Mauricio Pochettino, underscoring how disillusioned sections of the fanbase had become. In an official statement, Tottenham confirmed the dismissal of Frank and thanked him for his efforts, but pointed to a need for a change in direction as the club battles to improve its league standing. Sources indicate that an interim manager is likely to be appointed while the club considers its long-term options. Statistical struggles behind the decision. The numbers underpinning Frank's short tenure at Spurs tell the story of why his departure became inevitable. Only 2 wins in his last 17 Premier League games, a run that saw Spurs pick up just 11 points. Spurs went winless in 8 consecutive league games, the longest such run since 2008. The club averaged just 1.12 points per game under Frank in the league, the lowest points per game rate of any Spurs manager with 5 or more matches in charge. Tottenham's win percentage during his stint plunged to just 27%, one of the worst marks in the club's recent history. Their current Premier League record also showed a troubling trend. The team was winless in 24 consecutive top-flight matches when trailing at halftime, run only surpassed by a few of the division's struggling sides. These sobering figures highlighted how domestic form deteriorated sharply under Frank's leadership, with home results in particular proving disastrous. Spurs managed only 2 league wins at home during his tenure, weakening the team's competitiveness at their own stadium. Fan reaction and future concerns. The announcement was met with mixed reactions among Tottenham supporters. The Tottenham Hotspur supporters' trust welcomed Frank's dismissal but urged caution, warning the club's hierarchy that the team still faces a very real threat of relegation without immediate improvements. The trust also criticized the timing of the decision, questioning why more decisive action was not taken earlier in the season or before the January transfer window closed. The group's statement called for a clear long-term plan centered on attacking football and sustained improvement, concerns that reflect wider supporter sentiment about the club's direction. Domestic struggles amid European competition. Frank's reign at Tottenham was defined by stark contrasts. While the team struggled in the Premier League, their more stable form in Europe saw them progress in the Champions League, automatically qualifying for the round of 16. Despite this relative continental success, the inability to translate that form into domestic results ultimately proved costly. Tottenham's disappointing performances in the FA Cup and EFL Cup, where they were knocked out early, compounded fears about the team's lack of depth and consistency across competitions. What's next for Spurs? With 13 Premier League games remaining and a daunting upcoming fixture list, including a key derby against league leaders Arsenal, Tottenham's managerial search is now critical. Among the names linked to the vacancy is Roberto De Zerbi, recently departed from Marseille, who has been touted as a potential candidate capable of bringing attacking prowess and tactical clarity to a struggling squad. Speculation also persists about other figures, including former Spurs players and managers, but the club's hierarchy has yet to make a formal decision. What remains clear is that Tottenham's league status and long-term ambitions hinge on the incoming appointment succeeding where Frank could not, stabilizing results, improving morale, and steering the team away from relegation danger. Reflection on Thomas Frank's tenure. Thomas Frank's spell at Tottenham will be remembered as a turbulent and ultimately unsuccessful chapter. Hired in the wake of Postecoglou's dismissal, Frank came with a strong reputation from his time at Brentford, but was unable to overcome Tottenham's deeper structural and performance issues. His reign featured flashes of promise, but was overshadowed by an increasingly alarming league position and growing fan unrest. As Spurs embark on their next managerial era, the focus will be on reversing course in the Premier League while attempting to replicate, or surpass, the European highs of the previous campaign.